Be prepared. Tomorrow changes everything. And I mean everything. What's about to happen in the sky isn't just rare. It's the kind of cosmic event that splits your life into before and after. Most people will wake up on Friday the 13th with no idea they're standing at the threshold of their destiny. But you're already feeling it, aren't you? That restless energy coursing through you. The sudden urge to act on something you've been avoiding for months, maybe even years. It's not random. Your soul knows what's coming. And if you've been having vivid, almost prophetic dreams lately, dreams that feel more real than your waking life, keep watching, because there's one specific reason this is happening to you right now. And I'll explain exactly why later in this video. So stay tuned. But first you need to understand why the next 48 hours are the most critical window you'll face all year. Because tomorrow, March 13th, 2026, at 2 at night, something extraordinary happens in the cosmos. Mars, the planet of action, courage, and sheer willpower, collides with the north node of destiny in the mystical boundary-dissolving sign of Pisces. This is what astrologers call a karmic accelerator, a moment when the universe stops whispering and starts demanding, a point in time when destiny doesn't just knock on your door. It kicks it wide open and pulls you through whether you're ready or not. And here's what makes this even more intense. This isn't happening on just any day. It's happening on Friday the 13th, a date that's been demonized, feared, misunderstood for centuries. But the truth, this is one of the most powerful manifestation portals in existence. A day when the divine feminine reclaims her throne and the veil between what is and what could be becomes paper thin. The timing is no accident. The placement is no coincidence. And the fact that you're watching this right now, that's destiny recognizing itself. The eclipse already changed you, even if you don't know it yet. Let's rewind for a second. Because what's about to happen tomorrow didn't start tomorrow. It started on March 3rd. When a total lunar eclipse in Virgo ripped through the sky and tore apart your old reality. You felt it. Maybe you didn't understand it, but you felt it. That sudden exhaustion. The way routines that used to work just stopped working. Projects falling apart for no reason. Systems breaking down. Plans unraveling at the seams. And here's what nobody tells you. That wasn't failure. That was clearing. The eclipse in Virgo conjunct the South Node came through like a cosmic editor, cutting out every single thing in your life that was built on control, perfectionism, or the exhausting need to micromanage your way to safety. Virgo wants to organize, categorize, perfect. But the North Node in Pisces, it's calling you toward faith, flow, surrender, and those two forces cannot coexist. So the eclipse forced your hand. It stripped away the illusion that you can control your way into your destiny. You can't. You never could. And deep down, you knew that. But knowing it intellectually and being forced to live it, that's a completely different experience. For the past 10 days, you've been walking through a void, a space where the old structures are gone, but the new path hasn't fully materialized yet. It's uncomfortable. It's disorienting. It feels like you're floating in the dark with no coordinates. But that void, that's not emptiness. That's sacred space. The universe just cleared room in your life for something massive to enter. And tomorrow, March 13th, that something arrives. Mars in Pisces is making you act in ways that don't make sense. Mars entered Pisces on March the 2nd. And since then, something strange has been happening. The way you approach action, the way you make decisions, the way you move through the world. It's different now. Softer, more intuitive, less aggressive. If you've been feeling confused about what to do next, if logic isn't working the way it used to, if your usual strategic planning feels completely useless, congratulations, you're doing it right. Because Mars in Pisces doesn't operate like normal Mars. Traditional Mars is a warrior charging into battle, slamming through obstacles, conquering by force. But Pisces is water. It's boundless. It's the ocean. And you can't punch water. You can't force your way through the mist. All you do is exhaust yourself. Mars in Pisces demands that you become the spiritual warrior. And that's a completely different archetype. The spiritual warrior doesn't fight against the current. They move with it. They don't conquer. They align. They don't force. They surrender to a higher flow. This is the paradox you're living right now. You're being asked to take massive, courageous action, but the action required isn't logical. It isn't strategic. It's intuitive. It's the kind of move that makes zero sense on paper, but feels absolutely undeniable in your soul. Maybe it's walking away from something that looks successful, but feels spiritually dead. Maybe it's finally saying yes to something you've been terrified of for years. Maybe it's a creative leap, a relational risk, a complete reinvention of your identity. Whatever it is, you already know what it is. Your body knows. Your dreams know. The quiet voice inside you that's been getting louder every single day. That's your soul preparing you for tomorrow. Friday the 13th isn't what you think. It's a portal. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. This Mars node conjunction is happening on Friday the 13th. And if you grew up in mainstream culture, you've been conditioned to see that date as unlucky, cursed, dangerous. But that's a lie. A deliberate distortion designed to sever you from one of the most sacred days in the cosmic calendar. Friday is the day of Venus, the day of Freya, the Norse goddess of love, magic, and war, the day ruled by the divine feminine. And the number 13, it's not unlucky. It's the number of natural cycles. There are 13 full moons in a solar year, 13 menstrual cycles in a year. 13 is the rhythm of the earth, the pulse of creation itself. For thousands of years, Friday the 13th was honored as a day of immense power, manifestation, and feminine sovereignty. It was only later, through patriarchal religious structures, that this day was twisted into something to fear. The divine feminine had to be suppressed, and demonizing her sacred day was part of that process. So when Mars, the warrior, it's the North Node, your destiny, on Friday the 13th, the universe is sending you a very specific message. Reclaim your power. Stop apologizing for your intuition. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Step into the fullness of who you're meant to be. This isn't just a day to take action. It's a day to reclaim the parts of yourself you've been taught to suppress. Your wildness, your instincts, your unapologetic truth. The veil is thin tomorrow. The portal is open, and the universe is handing you the keys to your next chapter. The only question is, will you walk through? This is the exact moment and what you must do. Let's get precise. Tomorrow, March 13th, at 2 at night, Mars aligns perfectly with the North Node at 8 degrees and 23 minutes of Pisces. This is the exact moment when will and destiny fuse together. At this point, you're no longer being gently nudged toward your path. You're being magnetically pulled. The North Node is the head of the dragon, the insatiable hunger of your soul's evolution. When Mars hits it, that hunger ignites into action. But here's what you need to understand. The action required is highly specific. This isn't about forcing an outcome. This isn't about dominating a situation or overpowering resistance. Remember, we're in Pisces, the realm of surrender, faith and flow. The Sabian symbol for this degree is haunting. A jockey spurs his horse intent on outdistancing his rivals. At first that sounds completely contradictory to Pisces, right? A jockey violently spurring a horse is pure aggression, pure competition, pure Mars. But here's the synthesis. Spiritual surrender requires total commitment. You can't drift into your destiny. You have to sprint toward it. You have to give everything you have. Throw your entire being into the pursuit. Channel every ounce of your vital force into the leap. The jockey trusts the horse. He's not controlling every muscle. He's guiding, directing, and then letting the animal's power do what it does best. That's the Mars-Pisces paradox. You surrender to the path, but you execute with absolute intensity. So what's the action you need to take? Only you know. Deep down you already know. It's the thing you've been circling around for weeks. The decision you've been avoiding because it doesn't make logical sense. The move that terrifies you because once you make it, there's no going back. Here's how to identify it. True intuition doesn't feel frantic. It doesn't feel reactive or desperate. It arrives as a quiet, grounded certainty. Even if it defies all logic, even if you can't explain it to anyone else, it feels right in your bones. That's the move. That's the action, and tomorrow is the day you make it. Remember when I said if you've been having vivid prophetic dreams, there's a specific reason. This is it. Your subconscious has been receiving downloads, preparing you, showing you glimpses of the path forward. The dreams aren't random. They're coordinates. Pay attention to the symbols, the emotions, the recurring themes. Your higher self has been training you for this moment. The universe will test you immediately. Be ready. Here's where most people fail. They feel the cosmic surge on the 13th. They take the leap. They make the move, and then the very next day, everything falls apart. On March 14th, exactly one day after the Mars node conjunction, Mars forms a harsh 90-degree square to Black Moon Lilith in Gemini, and this is the sharpest edge of the entire transit. Black Moon Lilith represents your shadow, your rage, your exile, the parts of you that were rejected, suppressed, demonized. In Gemini, it's specifically about your voice, the truths you weren't allowed to speak, the anger you swallowed to stay safe, the authenticity you buried to fit in. When Mars squares Lilith the day after activating your destiny, all of that suppressed material comes roaring to the surface. You might feel sudden, overwhelming anger. You might want to lash out, to attack, to burn bridges. You might hear yourself saying things you never thought you'd say. This is the test. This is where the universe checks if you're really ready for the path you just claimed, because if you act out of unhealed rage, if you let the shadow hijack the destiny path, you risk destroying everything you just activated. The key is to witness the shadow without becoming it. Feel the anger. Acknowledge it. Honor it. But don't let it dictate your actions. Don't send that scorching message. Don't blow up that relationship. Don't sabotage yourself out of spite. The rage is valid. The wound is real. But acting from that wound isn't the same as acting from your destiny. Hold space for both. Let the shadow speak, but don't let it steer the ship. If you can navigate March 14th without self-destructing, you've passed the initiation. You've proven to the universe and to yourself that you're strong enough to hold this new timeline. Mercury will show you why this all had to happen. Throughout this entire process, Mercury has been retrograde in Pisces, scrambling your thoughts, making it impossible to think straight, dissolving the boundaries of logic. But on March 7th, something profound happened. Mercury formed a Sias-Emi, a perfect alignment with the Sun at 16 Pisces. This is called being in the heart of the Sun, and it's a moment of pure, brilliant clarity in the middle of the retrograde fog. You might have received a flash of insight that day, a sudden knowing, the piece of the puzzle clicking into place. That wasn't random. That was your higher self downloading the coordinates you'd need for the 13th. And then, on March 15th, retrograde Mercury will conjunct Mars at the exact degree where the destiny activation happened. Your mind will be processing everything at maximum intensity. Thoughts and emotions will be completely fused. This is not the time to explain yourself to anyone. Let the integration happen internally. On March 17th, Mercury retrogrades back over the North Node itself, giving you one more flash of clarity, one more download about the path forward. And then, on March 20th, the spring equinox, the astrological new year, Mercury stations direct at 8 Pisces, the exact degree of the Mars node conjunction. When Mercury goes direct on the scene of the transformation, the fog lifts, the confusion clears, and you finally see the new reality you've been building. The pieces come together. The path forward becomes undeniable. Everything that felt chaotic and overwhelming suddenly makes perfect sense. Because you're not the same person you were 2 weeks ago. You stepped through the portal. You became someone new. This moment echoes across 18.6 years of your life. Here's something most people don't realize. The North Node completes a full cycle through the zodiac every 18.6 years. The last time the North Node was in Pisces was from June 2006 to December 2007, and before that, December 1987 to May 1989. If you're old enough to remember those periods, think back. What was happening in your life? What themes were dominant? What spiritual awakenings or crises of faith did you experience? Because tomorrow's Mars node conjunction isn't a random event. It's the continuation of a story that's been unfolding across decades. The universe is circling back to the same lesson, the same evolutionary mandate, but at a higher level of consciousness. If you ignored the call in 2006, this is your chance to answer it now. If you took the leap back then but didn't fully integrate it, this is the completion. The themes are the same. Surrender versus control. Faith versus logic. Service versus perfectionism. But you're not the same. You've evolved. You're ready. This is the spiral of time. The cosmos doesn't repeat. It echoes. And you get to choose whether you repeat the old pattern or finally transcend it. What happens after tomorrow will shock you. The Mars node conjunction is the climax. It's the moment of ignition, the point of no return. But the energy doesn't just stop on the 13th. It ripples forward, reshaping your reality in real time. Some of you will wake up on March 15th feeling lighter than you have in years. Not because anything external changed, but because something inside you finally let go. A fear that's been running your life. A belief that's been holding you back. A story you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. Others will feel disoriented, unmoored, like you're walking through a world that suddenly looks different. That's because you are. You've shifted timelines. The choices you make tomorrow literally determine which version of reality you step into. And here's what's wild. The people around you will start reacting differently. Some will be drawn to you like a magnet, recognizing something in you they can't explain. Others will pull away without warning, as if they subconsciously know you've outgrown the role they needed you to play. Neither is good or bad. It's just alignment. You're vibrating at a new frequency, and not everyone can match it. Let them go. The right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances, they're already on their way to you. By the time the sun enters Aries on March 20th and Mercury goes direct, you'll be standing in a completely new energetic landscape. The fog will clear. The path will be obvious. And you'll look back at this moment and realize that's when everything changed. The choice is yours, but the window is closing. Tomorrow, March 13th, 2026, the universe hands you a gift. A rare, precious cosmic invitation to claim your destiny. But you have to reach out and take it. It won't be forced on you. It won't chase you down. Destiny only meets you when you step toward it. The North Node is hungry. It's pulling you forward with unstoppable force. Mars is giving you the courage, the fire, the sheer kinetic energy to make the leap. Pisces is showing you that the path forward isn't about logic. It's about faith. And Friday the 13th is opening a portal so powerful that what you manifest tomorrow will echo through the rest of your life. But none of it matters if you don't act. If you hesitate. If you let fear talk you out of it one more